guys, I'm Christie from Girls Can Grill. Today I'm with Cowboy Charcoal and we're going to be making some Korean short ribs, also known as kalbi. Let's get started. I'm going to make a marinade. We're going to use some brown sugar. All right, next up we're going to be mixing in some onions. The onions are going to act as a tenderizer. And speaking of tenderizer, you might wonder why I've got some baby food out here. Well, in Korean barbecue, they use pureed pears and pureed apples to really tenderize the meat. Instead of actually buying apples and an Asian pear to do that, you can just buy baby food. It's already pureed for you. So I've got a jar of each here. Gonna add that, and this is going to, like I said, tenderize the meat. Next up, we're just gonna add some rice wine vinegar. It's a little bit of a sweeter vinegar. Some water, this helps thin things out. Soy sauce. Can't cook with Asian cuisine without soy sauce. Aromatics, we're gonna use our garlic here. Red pepper flakes. If you don't like things spicy, you can keep these out. I personally do like a little bit of a kick, and the brown sugar is going to help cut the kick anyway. Plus, we've got some ground ginger here. Last but not least, we've got some sesame oil. Use this stuff sparingly. You only need about a half a teaspoon or so, but it's going to add a nice umami touch to the dish. Then you're just going to whisk all of this together. And the marinade is ready. Okay, let's talk about these ribs. These are beef ribs. You might not think they look like regular beef ribs. If you're used to the dinosaur bones that come from the plate, from the belly of the cow, those are the ones that have the 3 really long bones. That's actually what these are cut from. You can see the bones right here. So just think of it as the 3 long bones, but instead of the full-size plate rib, they sawed the bones like this, so you get these shorter pieces. What's awesome about that is that means these are gonna cook up super fast, and we're gonna tenderize them in all those ingredients we have in our marinade, which is gonna make this dish even better. So I'm gonna throw these into a plastic bag. That's gonna make the marinating process a lot easier. We're gonna pour the marinade into the bag. There we go. Seal it up. Now what I like to do is massage the meat. You want to massage the marinade so that it gets into all the different pieces. You're going to push in that apple puree, that pear puree, those umami flavors that you created. And then you're going to just let this rest in the refrigerator overnight. If you only have 30 minutes, you have a quick night meal that you've got to throw together, that'll work too. But if you do it overnight, they'll be even more tender in the morning. Okay, the ribs have been marinating overnight. It's time to grill them. I've got the grill set up to 300 degrees and I'm using the Cowboy Charcoal applewood briquettes this time. Because we use the apple puree, the applewood briquettes just make total sense. I've got my grill set up with 2 settings. I've got a direct heat zone and an indirect heat zone. For the indirect, that means I basically got a plate setter, a ceramic plate that's underneath here. It's gonna deflect the heat just a little bit in case we get flare-ups. That gives us flexibility to move these back and forth because these are gonna get flaming hot. Let's add them to the grill. You can keep them whole like this, or you can actually cut them into smaller bite-sized pieces. Just cut each bone so you get 3 pieces per rib. And they cook super fast, so you can have them marinated and have them ready and get them cooking, and dinner will be ready in like 15 minutes. Since I've got so many going, I'm gonna go ahead and add some to the indirect side of the grill as well. That's no problem. We're just gonna rotate these throughout the cook. And there we go. They're on the grill, ready to go. We're gonna give them 5 to 7 minutes per side, and then dinner will be ready. All right, these have only been on for a few minutes, but already the flame is starting to kiss those ribs. And because we've got sugar in here, we gotta be careful that the sugar doesn't burn. So I'm gonna start giving them a flip. Oh yeah. And see these flare-ups that I was talking about earlier? Those are what we've got to watch out for. That's why I've got this indirect zone. So if it gets too flaming, we just move it over to the side. Now these are beef, so technically it's safe to eat them medium rare, but for the best flavor, I like to get them really well done. I personally like them charred. I like when that sugar starts to crystallize and get really crispy. That's just my favorite because it just adds so much flavor to this. And as I mentioned earlier, they come from the belly of the cow, so it's pretty much like eating beef bacon. You can't go wrong with that. All right, some of these are pretty much done, so I'm gonna move them to the indirect side. And I'm gonna give a little bit more love of fire to the ones that haven't finished cooking yet. Okay guys, these ribs are done. I told you it was super fast. Let's get them over to the platter. It's okay if some of the bones separate from the meat. My family actually loves to eat around the bones, so this dish is gonna make everybody happy in your family. All right, guys, these ribs are done. Now, what you serve them with is completely up to you. If you eat in a lot of Hawaiian restaurants, which we have a lot of Hawaiian restaurants in Vegas, you'll find them served with white rice and usually like macaroni salad. It's a little bit sweeter of a macaroni salad. I love that version. I actually lived in Korea for a little while, and so if you eat these in Korea, they serve them with banchan, which is usually like pickled vegetables. Also super delicious. Today, we're gonna go with the white rice because I had that on hand. And I always like to finish it off with some fresh green onion. It just adds beautiful color along with a little pop of flavor. And then sesame seeds. Throw a little on your rice as well. And there you have it. Time to take a bite. All the Asian flavors in there. Delicious. Again, quick weeknight meal. You can get the full recipe at cowboycharcoal.com. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time, keep cooking with Cowboy.